What's good, everybody? I was muted. My apologies, but happy Sunday to everybody who is here or who is watching our live replay. I am here to go over the Never Ever Met. The episode that aired this past Friday was titled Wish We Had Never Met, Season 2, Episode 9. I did send James an invite. It looks like he just popped up. I know he was busy, so he might have been late, but he somehow made it on time. Welcome in, James. Oh, my phone is going off all loud. Anywho, you guys, we are here a little bit late. Our schedules are going to be changing. James is moving and dealing with a lot. I am starting school and stuff, so the schedules may be a little different. We're also adding some shows, so be sure to subscribe to his channel. The link's in the description, as well as Shana's channel. But let's get into Never Ever Met because I'm exhausted of these people. I am thoroughly just exhausted and sick of these people. James, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Welcome in. Hi,
Thank
Shana.
you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. Oh, Lord, you came at the nick of time.
Girl, I'm telling you, I was driving so fast on that freeway trying to get here.
James, you could have been a little late. Please don't drive like a crazy person on the freeway. Don't drive like that.
But yes, I was trying to make it because, girl, time was not on my side today.
Understandable. No worries. It's like the one day off that I feel goes extra fast Sunday. But,
especially when it's your only day off.
Huh?
Especially when it's your only day off.
Yeah, that's too much. That is too much. You got that warehouse life. But y'all, this episode irritated me. I feel like it probably irritated everyone because this has been an exhausting cast. Last season, we had a couple people that were kind of like, okay, you're a little too much. This season, everybody's driving me crazy. Everybody's driving me crazy.
I feel like with the first season, these were people who actually were trying to give a relationship a shot. I feel like half of these, or the majority of them, are acting.
I can kind of agree with that. Well, not kind of. I thoroughly agree with that.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel off. None of these relationships feel authentic to me at all. And the one relationship I thought was authentic was Jay and Cinco. And now I'm starting to question them now after this episode.
Yeah, I've been saying Jay and Cinco just are so focused on the positive and focused on everybody else in the house that we don't get to see like the actual cracks and little nuances we need to see within their relationship. But that's definitely something we'll talk about a lot because I'm sick of Jay. Can't say it enough. The last episode, y'all, we see Ty and Britt get into it. Brittany, Ty, they should have been broke up a while ago. But for whatever reason, they're still there. And after the breakup, it looks like Brittany and Jay end up getting into it. And Jay calls out Brittany for basically, expecting all of these things to change from Ty when she's not even willing to change anything for him. Which I do kind of agree that things have been one-sided with those two. I don't like Ty, and I think he has his own red flags, but I definitely feel like from the very beginning, James said it, I said it, she kind of moved like she had a wall up, or she moved like she was looking for a daddy for her child versus a partner, if that makes sense. I don't know if you felt the same, James, but...
No, I definitely felt the same. I felt like she definitely was moving in a way where it felt like she was just trying to find a father for her son and then put her needs and her wants to the back burner. And then what that resulted in is that he's trying to show up in ways to where, he's overextending himself trying to please her. And because she won't put her standards or what she wants in the forefront, it makes it difficult for him. So I get we see red flags with him. I'm not going to dispute the red flags. But at the same time, what I also do see is a man who's continuing to try and a woman who's not really giving him any leeway to appreciation of what he's doing. Like, I don't think she really sees it.
I don't think she's attracted to him also. Just because at the very beginning when she saw him, she looked a little let down, and then she had that wall up. And I can understand moving a certain way because you want a man who's going to be, involved with your child. But she never seemed that interested in him. No shade to Ty. He's 38, but he looked like he about 48. He
Yeah,
was
he
like a
does.
little bit soul
He does
patch.
give uncle. Yeah, he does give uncle vibes, like great uncle vibes. But at the same time, then she should have made a different choice.
She dragged him along, and I feel like that's what Jay was trying to explain to her. Like, you keep making all these demands from this man, but and even Charlie said it later on in the episode, like, you don't like that man. And it's okay to not like somebody.
Right. It's okay to change your mind. Like I think people have to understand it's okay for you to change your mind, but don't let me force it out of you. Like change your mind in the instance where you're like, hey, I went into this thinking one thing, and unfortunately, it's not that. It's actually the opposite of what I want for my life because there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with telling somebody I want different than what I thought I was getting from you.
I absolutely agree with that. But I did feel like Jay went too far because she had a point when she was explaining, like, you keep making demands but not willing to meet him halfway or any of that. But then Jay mentions how Brittany is friendly with all the other men in the house, hugs on them, pokes on them, just flirtatiously interacts with them. And, the producers, they do play back like basically a variety of a bunch of little clips of Brittany being very affectionate with other men in the house. They didn't really show her doing that with the women. Now, some women do lean towards men. Most of my closest friends have always been men myself, but I think there's a difference between leaning towards men in friendship and then just flirting. And I did feel like after seeing the scenes, and I've been thinking it on and off, like, oh, she's being playful with them. But my brain went to, well, maybe she just don't like Ty and is interacting with other people. But when they pointed out that she don't be like that with the women, I was kind of like, I could see that. But the way Jay went about it was off, especially when she says she's walking around like a promiscuous whore, says the lady who within 5 minutes of meeting her man was in the shower naked trying to get busy. You can't call nobody promiscuous. I will say if Brittany was promiscuous, she would have been sampled what Ty has to offer to know. She probably would have been stop wasting her time if that was the case. But Ty, he hears what was going on. He's in another room, but he overhears the conversation of what was going on. And Ty is done with Britt, so he doesn't really defend her whatsoever. And he says he's done chasing her. These two don't need to be together. But before we move forward, before we get to the actual breakup, because we know they didn't last, like, how did you feel about Jay's and Brittany's interaction? And how do you feel about Brittany's interactions with the men?
The interactions with the men didn't surprise me because she reminds me of the problematic lady we had at the beginning of this season. Because that was the same situation when the guy wanted to do yoga with her, but she told him no. But then she ended up doing it with somebody else. It was
Yeah, I
definitely
remember her.
yeah. So she was giving me that vibe where maybe we didn't pay close enough attention to her because of how standoffish she was, but I feel like Jay had valid points. It's just her delivery was just wrong.
She didn't have to call her a promiscuous whore. That was really the only part of it I did not like. But everything Jay said was true, which also supports Shayna's comment. Only difference is Jay did that with her man. Brittany is flirting with everyone else's. And that's the thing, because I didn't like that Jay called her out her name. And I do feel like Jay be getting involved in stuff that's not her business. However, Jay was not wrong. If you're in a house with a bunch of people meeting someone for the first time, even though they're in relationships, like, they're still those first time meeting them, so they may feel insecure. They don't know if their eyes wander. You got to live with these people, so it's probably not smart to be all up on everybody else's man. That's rude. So I do feel that Brittany should have known better, and she kept trying to make it seem like I touch everybody. Girl, ain't one clip of you touching a woman outside of Charlie. Not one. She irks my soul, y'all. She irks my soul. But moving forward, this is real quick because I'm only bringing this up because I know James will have a key with me. Jared and Charlie are laying around, and there's in between scenes, and I think production just wanted to show how slimy Jared is. Like, this guy is true trash. he gives Jock, that does not treat the girls well in every way of the stereotype. He's laying around Charlie and telling a lie about catching a catfish because I guess the men have been fishing while in the house, and they showed that it was actually Brandon and somebody else to catch a catfish. He walked away. No big fish was caught. I said, no, he just lies to lie, James. Why are you lying about a damn catfish?
I already told you my opinions about this man. I know what I'm looking at. And that's the reason why he lied. I know what I'm looking at. That's why, and I know people are gonna fight me tooth and nail about this because y'all gonna say he has children. I know plenty of them that do. I don't. And I say this firmly. I don't want to out this man, but I know what I'm looking at, and that's the reason why he lies. The lies don't make sense. You could have said, I ain't catching nothing. I just went out there just to enjoy myself. That's all you had to say.
Right.
But the fact that you're trying to be impressionable on a lady that you just basically fucked over on this entire TV show, just speaks volumes. Like to me, that was the more dead giveaway than anything else he has done.
Telling a whole unnecessary lie. And not just like I caught a fish, telling the story of how bad it was and all the like, come on, Jared, this is childish.
And see, this is where Charlie needs to have self-esteem. This is where Charlie needs to have self-esteem. Because there's no way he could talk to me again. There's no way that man could talk to me again. After he did what he did, I have no words. I might as well go home. Because I have no words.
Like what are
you talking to me for?
I would have been, if I was Charlie, because I feel like she knows he'd be lying, but like you said, her self-esteem be in the way. I would have been challenging him. Oh yeah, babe, where's the fish? We gonna fry it up? I'm hungry. Where's this big ass fish?
I ain't got the time. Why your big watermelon ass head over here talking to me? Go somewhere. I'm finna go home.
Hello, Kathy. Happy Sunday to you. She said he just lies to lie. He does.
And there was no reason. It's stupid. Like it really is stupid. Like I have never seen a man just with a bright smile and everything just lie.
Just randomly.
Just randomly over something that you on camera, sir. Like what you?
But I see what he's doing too. He don't want to talk about anything relating to their future outside of the house because he ain't
made his mind up right with you. He to me, I don't feel like. Here's my thing. I don't feel like he ever intentionally wanted to be with her even before signing up on the show. I think she was somebody he had on the side that he was texting with him and baby mama number 2 was into it. So he probably had a few I'm pretty sure Charlie's not the only one.
You're probably right. You're honestly probably right because just the way he moves in general, the comments he made about his first marriage, it was so hard to be a good husband. I did it for so long, and then he drops the ball of being married for 2 to 3 years. I was like, oh, so long. Like
it's like saying, right. Okay, to me, and honestly, that's why I challenge that sister because there's something y'all are not saying about him that it needs to be talked about because to me, if I didn't know any better, and I know a whole lot better, y'all, I don't think he was into women. I really don't. And that's why I'm saying I know what I'm looking at. And I feel like he does this. He punishes women on the sly for not being what he needs, not realizing what he needs may not be that gender. So you just kind of like, to me, I just feel like y'all, and I know a lot of y'all women be like, but he's so cute, James. You wrong and this.
He ain't that cute.
Like, okay, all right.
He ain't that damn cute.
If y'all want to act like this all you want to, there's no way a man who loves women plays them type of games. Those are serious things.
And that's the important point of what you said. If he genuinely intended to be with her, he would have made sure that she knew about the child the moment that woman was pregnant, since they've been talking 4.5 damn years. And if she really wanted to be with him, I don't think she would have lied about.
Well, remember, she did that because she felt he was cheating, and then she got caught up her damn self. So it would
either way. These people don't.
These two don't need to be together. They're just it's water under the bridge. I don't know why. Owen is just trying to make the house look full. That's just at this point.
I'm not trying to make the house look full. I can't stand you, but they probably are. Now, some more foolery. Cinco and Jay are trying to figure out they're relocating. And who's gonna move where? Because she live in Chicago, he live in Atlanta. She want him to move to Chicago, he want her to move to Atlanta, essentially. Reasons being, she says that it would be hard for her to move because of her son. She says her son has best friends. Then Jay's like, isn't he like 4? And she's like, yes, he's 4. But it's harder to just relocate when you have a child and the support system, all these things she was saying. And what I got from it, I said, so basically, neither of you are willing to negotiate. And I'm just curious on what they're going to do. This goes back to my point that y'all hate me for saying. I will forever say it everywhere I can. If you do not have kids, don't go and date nobody with kids, because I'm going to side with her this time. She has a child, regardless if the child is 4 or 5, even though we know there's some BSJ. 4-year-old ain't got no doggone best friend. But I will say, when your kid is that small, you got to really know where you're going to be so they're not just moving around all the time. I get where Cinco's coming from. He has the perspective of he moved a lot as a child, so he doesn't see like the big deal in moving. Like, I moved a lot as a child. My husband moved a lot as a child. It's not always the best thing for kids, but it's also not a bad thing. There's benefits and there's, negatives. But I don't know. I feel like her support system is in Chicago, her family's in Chicago. I know people from Chicago are strong and proud. You know what I'm saying? So if they do leave, for whatever reason, it does happen. It is what it is. But I don't think she's going to move to Atlanta for him. But I don't feel like he should move to Chicago for her because she seems toxic. So that's all I'll say. How'd you feel about it, James?
Here's the thing. I was very conflicted with this thing because I watched it 3 times. Like, I had rewinded it and I was like, okay, because you guys know I moved to South Florida for somebody, and I don't have children, but at the same time, I didn't have barriers of my own in where I moved. And to me, I feel like I understood both sides and it was very hard for me, which is why I'm not picking a side, because they both have very good reasons not to move to either or city. They both have very good reasons. I feel like for me, I will make the decision based on who would actually be there for me better out of the two of them. That's how I would make the decision. Who makes more money? Okay, if I come there, am I going to be okay? Or are you going to hold it over my head if I can't find a job in the nick of time? Or if I don't have a job that transfers, or if the bills get overwhelming, are you going to throw that in my face? Like, to me, there's so many more questions and elements as I did that. I don't regret doing it because I loved every part of living in South Florida. I did, regardless of how my relationship ended. I did love where I was. But the problem is that I had no barriers of my own. I didn't have my own place. I didn't, my job paid well, but the problem is that South Florida was expensive as hell. So it was hard for me that if the shit did go backwards, that I can get my own place. That was hard as well. So it's just a lot of factors. I don't think neither one of them are looking into, or if they are, they didn't show us on camera. They just let these petty reasons be the issues. But I think that they need to do more dissecting than what they're doing. If I had to give
these people just now meeting, they're one of the couples that hasn't been together for very long at all anyway. So they definitely need to take their time in making a decision. However, I'm cracking up at Kathy. She said he's 4. Pick up the Batman action figure and move. Listen, at 4, that's what I'm saying. It's not like moving like a 4th grader or something. Like, they're 4. Like, they haven't been established with school yet. Fine. But regardless if you have kids or not, I don't feel like if you move to another state, make sure that you have a job, whether it be transferring your job, even if it's expensive, like Florida, California. There's a lot of places in this country, New York, where, you can make the best money, but be considered low income. Like here in the Bay Area, 6 figures is low income, but you like still having that job security is important.
Yeah.
Chicago's expensive. It's also very competitive as it relates to job markets for people with or without a degree. So I think something James said that makes sense is they need to figure out who makes the most money, but not just who makes the most money, who has the most stability and ease in finding jobs if they end up unemployed, or job longevity if they want to stay at their job. But they need to be talking about other stuff, not this. Like, not this. That's like, come on, just I hope they slow it down. But Moving forward, you guys, after Cinco J's little talk, we see Brittany finally meet with Ty to talk. I'm annoyed with these people. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm black. I can't keep doing it with them. I can't. Brittany is exhausting. I will say that. I do think that Ty was on this show, though, kind of hoping to come out as either a comedian. He's also an extreme people pleaser. So I don't think Ty is perfect, but I don't think he did anything to Brittany to warrant this type of drama. Like, you could tell that if she accidentally stubs his toe and he's like, ow, god damn it, she's gonna make that into like an argument that they're probably gonna be going through for days. Like, she just seems exhausted. I'm so sorry to say that, but she does. Um, but she tells him that the relationship's not working and explains how she felt ganged up on in the kitchen when she had her interaction with Jay. And she says that if Ty truly cared about her, he would have stopped the group from ganging up on her. And he says to her, and I actually agreed with him, so once again, it's my fault. He wasn't in the room or any of that. You want him to defend you and do all this stuff for you when you're sending him a signal that you're done with him and you wouldn't do the same for him. So I actually can't fault Ty this time, but he explains his perspective and is bothered by what the group is talking about with her being physical with other men. And he asks for Brittany to please be accountable. She tells him that she touched everybody, which we know is a lie. And I do agree with Ty. Brittany lacks accountability. If you're going to ask for so much from people, or if you're going to hold everyone else accountable, then you should be able to be held accountable here and there yourself. You got to be able to take what you dish out. And I don't feel like Brittany does that. But the couple ends up breaking up. Brittany don't say goodbye to nobody in the house except for Charlie. And I was cracking up because the group attacked her, but they had the audacity to be mad that she didn't want to say goodbye to them. Y'all been talking about this girl behind her back, acting like you don't like her, secretly upset that she touching your men. I wish a bitch would touch my husband and be okay. He don't need to be tickled no more. Keep your hands to yourself before I bite them off, bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the group could have spoke up earlier on, but they chose to say nothing. But it was a strange situation, to say the least. But they broke up. How'd you feel about the breakup, James?
It needed to happen. I feel like it needed to happen because they were never going to, work out the challenges in their relationship either. I think both of them were way too superficial
Yep.
to realistically learn how to say, okay, sometimes you guys, I'm not saying this in the wrong element of way, so please don't take it on. Sometimes if the relationship means anything to you, sometimes you have to take the loss with yourself in order to build it and regain who you are with the other person. I've had to learn that even in my current relationship, where there's a lot of barriers that I had with myself because I just lost a parent. I had to move back to Phoenix, rebuild my life. I happened to fall in love at the same time, but a lot of those elements of where I was in my life were catching up with me, and at the same time, I had a whole nother life that I had to be in love with, be happy with, and everything like that. And I had to take a loss on some of the things like, hey, I'm not perfect. This is what I got. It's A, B, C, D. Will you be here with me while I tackle it down? Luckily, I have a ride or die. So it was easy for me to come to that. I think these two would never have done that with each other. It would have been something that they would have made an excuse, or well, it's this, or if it was Brittany, oh, it's my son, or if it's Ty, oh, it's the boat. If they would have made an excuse instead of just realistically saying, hey, this is what I'm going through, A, B, and C. Like, I feel like Brittany just wasn't being honest, and I feel like Ty loved her more, which he's supposed to, but at the same time, it was no love was reciprocated back to him, and he just continued to pour out until
That's the thing with Ty. Nothing was reciprocated back to him. So toward the end of the show, I cannot blame him for moving how he moved.
Mm-hmm.
And Brittany, I think, needs to be realistic. She came on the show with the attitude of, I want to find a man that could be there for my son. It's not a man's job to be there for your son. It's
like,
your
where is his father?
Exactly. It's
Why
her
are we
job
asking
and the
that question?
father's job. And if you get a bonus parent, then yay. But I think she has to figure out a lot within herself. Like, from what I saw, she moves like someone who's had a lot of trauma in past relationships. And so it seems like she has to have control. That's what I got from it. But welcome in, a bitch stay winning. It definitely needed to
Hey.
happen. We was tired. These people should have been broke up. But all of these couples,
All
I
these
don't know,
couples
just
need to
felt
break up. I don't see one couple, and I'm gonna throw Cinco and Jane there. I don't even see them making it. I feel like this concept, the way they have it, does not work naturally. They need to be like, what is that show, Married at First Sight? What is that show where they make them live in a condo together and
married
stuff
at
like
first
that?
sight.
Yes, they need to do that dynamic with these couples. They don't need to interact with each other. They just need to be in one space to see if they can, live with each other for like, let's say, a month. Just to see if they can have it. I know a lot of them can be gone from their jobs for a month, but I'm just saying, like, they need to be able to withstand like real tough conversations, real tough living experiences, because these people are trying to be in serious relationships, right? This is beyond dating, right?
Uh,
So yeah, I just feel like these couples need to be in circumstances where, hey, if living together is an option, let's have them test it out to see if they can withstand it. Let's see who's
yeah.
nasty and who's clean.
Well,
Let's
the
see who
problem
goes
is
and who doesn't.
OWN doesn't have the budget for it, but I definitely think how OWN goes about recruiting and scouting cast members for the show should be changed as well. A bitch they would have said yes, something about Jay doesn't sit right with me. Seems like she wants to be the head bitch in charge.
It's not.
Something
I
with
don't think
Jay
it's
is
that.
off.
I think she has control issues.
She
And it
does.
makes me wonder if the dynamics of her past relationships made her feel like she was less than because she was a woman. I feel like she went through those situations because her needing to be in charge of this relationship with her and Cinco is weird.
It is. It is.
So yeah,
It is. Honestly, the way Jay moves in general is weird.
it's
As they were
weird. Yeah,
talking,
it just doesn't. To me, it's kind of like she's trying to fit a square into a circle. It's like, man, there's going to be a part that sticks out. We can see it.
now,
So
speaking of Seiko and Jay, the next thing we see is their little perfume date. Not much happened. I felt like he was doing extra for the camera. Something about both of them just comes off to me as very disingenuous, like individually and as a couple. I'm not going to go too much over because they discuss their move and essentially they just agree to wait and see where their relationship goes before moving. And
mm,
yes, that's the right thing to do, but you're gonna have to come back to it eventually.
I mean,
So
I was just about to say, I'm like, but yeah, but we're not addressing the situation. We're just putting it to the back burner and waiting. So it's like,
you're not
okay,
fixing
so are
anything.
we ever going to address that one of us has to relocate? And to me, and if I'm being real, I don't know what Cinco does for a living. I don't know what, it's Atlanta, you just never know. But I feel like for me, I think she should go where he is.
I
Just
do
because,
too. I feel like Jay around her family. I don't know why, but she's like, I have a huge support system family.
and that might be a
Sometimes that's
part
a
of the
good
problem.
thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing. But the way that her family seems, no shade, and then where she's located, the city that she's from, I could just see her family becoming drama for
Yeah.
him or getting involved. I feel like they will enable her when she's wrong instead of letting her know, like, hey, sis, calm down. You wrong. Maybe think for a second. Like, I feel like that could be a problem, especially with the fact that she does need to be in control. Like a bitch they went in was saying, I definitely feel like the need to be control with the family and all of that. It's just going to be a way for like him to feel like he's a bonus to her life versus feeling like they're having a life together. Uh, but I don't know. These people are weird, James.
They're weird, but then also in the same breath, I feel like they're okay for each other. It's just that there's too much that needs to be mentally assessed with both of them. You know what
I
and
agree.
I think that that's what we're missing. I think they need to be mentally assessed because to me, she's giving like just straight up, sociopath, and he's giving, you know, just incomplete, you know, inadequate unworthiness to me because
Damn.
well, and the reason why I said that is because he didn't have any guidelines into even persuade her to move to Atlanta. He didn't mention I have a house. He didn't mention I have a car. He didn't mention I know where the baby can go to school. He didn't mention, I have some connections if you need a job. He didn't mention any of those things. So
That's true.
For
That is
me,
true.
I kind of feel like the reason why I say inadequate and unworthy is because if you want her to move to you as the man, you need to make sure that she has everything she's going to need for her to make that move. And I would say the same thing for her, but I feel like at the same time, I think she should go to Atlanta because the dynamics of Atlanta probably would be better for them because she has a child. I think that that would be a better place to raise a kid versus Chicago. But
Definitely.
you know, it's just my opinion. I just, but I don't feel like Cinco realistically put her in the safe space to say, "Hey, if you move to Atlanta, I got us. You ain't got to do nothing."
I feel like that's a
And
big deal
yeah,
for, like you said, for a man to do in a relationship. Like being independent, making your own money is great. I make my own money, have a job, got my own degree, all of those things. But for instance, my spouse and us decided to move back to Oakland, California. He wanted to do it a little more than me toward the end. He said, "We moved there, I'll cover the rent, figure this part out." So I do feel like as a man, if you want something to happen, you're probably more likely to get a yes if you're like, "Don't worry, babe, I got us," or "We'll make sure if something goes wrong that we're okay."
we're
He should
okay.
there
Yeah,
should have been more to the convo, but I also can't help but acknowledge that this is own network. So shitty edits, half of the conversations are missing. If there's a reunion, that's when you'll see shit at the reunion that you didn't see on shows. So it could also just be bad editing. You know what I mean? Low budget
yeah.
type
I mean, it
stuff.
could be. I mean, I'm willing to accept that if that's really the case. I don't think it is, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I just feel like what I'm watching and what I'm seeing is that they're not approaching this long term situation the correct way as far as who moves where, who does what, and everything of that dynamic. And then once again, this is another circumstance where Jay's not mentioning where is the baby's father and how active is he in the baby's life. Because that's the only way that would make me think that Cinco would need to go to her is if that's a circumstance where the father would need better access to the baby. That's the only
That
way.
would make sense.
Yeah,
That
that's
would
the
make
only way
sense.
I would feel better about that. But she didn't mention it, just like Brittany didn't mention it. So it makes me wonder if these men are really in these fathers' lives or in these children's lives at all. It just makes me
Woo.
wonder.
That's the concern. If not, but this is also why it's important to do things differently in terms of relationship shows on TV. Like Owen should have done like Married at First Sight, where they live together so they can't help but get to know these things. But we'll see. We will see, y'all. Kiki's friend comes. Kiki and her friend irritated me. I don't know why her friend's name was spelled that way, but it was. Her friend's name is Maya, and she has the audacity to be skeptical of Kiki's relationship with Brandon. But Kiki's the one who lied. I
Kiki is
just
the one
can't.
who lied. Kiki is the one who drink. Kiki the one with secrets. So
Kiki don't know when to stop eating. Kiki
right.
don't know when to stop drinking. Kiki don't know when to stop lying. Kiki doesn't. And I'm looking and I'm like, these are the worst kinds of friends you could have. But okay, they've known each other forever. We also
Well,
see
it's a
Brand.
way. Let me explain. Friends like Maya, it's a way to keep Kiki, beneath her, in the sense that Kiki has a potential to rise above everything, and it's the way to humble her back down. A lot of people do that. I'm learning to,
Maya needs to figure out how to get them edges to lay flat on her head. That's what
It
she needs
reminds
to.
me of no. This is who reminds me of the friend that when Queen's Court was on K Michelle's man. I forgot that man's name. That had that girlfriend that came over. And K Michelle said, "Why you just won't be with her?" And he goes, "Well, we ain't ever crossed that bridge. I'm not attracted to her." I said, "No, but you'll eat a whole plate of greens, fried chicken, cornbread, macaroni and cheese with her. Though. That's fine, but you want okay."
Hot mess. But Brandon, his brother arrives. I guess this is his brother that his stepbrother. He explained it weirdly, but then later on they claim to be blood. But I was annoyed with his brother's hair. What the hell was going on? It looked like he tried to perm his hair and it didn't go right, and then he tried to flat iron it, but he didn't use the right products, and now it looked like the hair is just in some sort of strange permanent cycle. But Kiki and Brandon both separately discussed Kiki's drinking while they meet with the brother and the friend separately. And Kiki pissed me off because she made it seem like to her friend Maya as if Brandon is the problem with the drinking. You admitted in a therapy session, Kiki, that your drinking was a problem, and a licensed professional, a doctor of psychology, told you that you are doing what's known as binge drinking, which is not healthy. And you're doing it every day. So she's trying to make it seem still like, oh, it's just the environment because we at this house. You're supposed to be getting to know people. You could get to know people without consistently having a damn cup of drink in your hand, right? And it just irks my soul. And she still has not told him about the ex. So I'm like, you sitting over here trying to paint this man as a problem, but you lying about having an ex and living with them. So everybody comes together, the brother Kiki, the friend, and all of them, and they discuss Kiki's alcohol together. And everyone pretty much agrees that Brandon is making it worse than it is. I don't think that he is. I've had the opportunity to drink every day myself on crazy vacations, time off, things like that. I choose not to. You don't always have to say yes to alcohol just because it's in your face. And if you feel that way, then maybe you need to seek help. I'm just saying. Just because it's in your face don't mean you have to indulge. But I do get where they're coming from with Kiki, because it's like, at least wait till you're outside of the house and then see how you move with that. But that's also risky. Now, Brandon's brother seems to think he's a damn therapist, which irked my soul. And he calls out Kiki for flaking on Brandon 4 times when they have tried to meet in person. Brandon came to Atlanta and she flaked on him. And I'm like, damn, bitch, if you're going to flake on him, at least wait till, give him time to cancel his flight and get his money back and all that. Don't let the man arrive in the city you at. That's whack. And she then explains in front of everybody that she was living with and still in a relationship with her ex. Now, Kiki's pissing me off because you said you just broke up with this man 4 months ago. But now you're trying to make it seem like you was just living with the ex when you were actively in a relationship. So it comes out and she says that this is the reason why she was unable to see him those 4 times. But she refuses to apologize and has the audacity to say, ain't no way you was faithful for 4.5 years. Bitch, it doesn't matter. You were in a whole separate relationship that had been going on for 8 years. Not just living with the man, still sleeping with the man and all of these crazy things. If he slept with somebody or didn't sleep with someone, as you said, since you weren't officially in a relationship, it shouldn't be no big deal. But you shouldn't be in a relationship talking to someone the way she was talking to Brandon. So Kiki is, in my opinion, a vile human being, and she has some audacity. She has some audacity, because if no shade to Brandon, if she were to get with a confident man or a man that did not have a fetish, nobody would deal with that bullshit from a bitch like her. And I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. It may sound mean, but it's the honest to God truth. And no, not because of her weight. Don't nobody, man or woman, want to have no partner that's drunk as hell all the time, don't know their limits. We done seen her ass falling over chairs, acting a complete fool, sucking their thumb like they 5 years old, but want to have a drink in their hand like they Frank Gallagher. Like, don't make no damn sense. So I just cannot with Kiki. She's a piece of work. So she tells the group about all the cheating and all of that. And then she says it wasn't cheating because she wasn't in a relationship with Brandon, which is crazy. And everybody in the house is acting like, oh, well, he got to get over it. And I said, okay, did OWN pay you people? Why does he have to get over finding out that she got somebody else she talked to when he's already had to get over the fact that this bitch drink too much? How much more is he going to have to get over for people to like take his side a little bit? But she basically talks with Brandon the next day over breakfast, and she does make the effort to manipulate him. He makes it clear to Kiki that all he wanted was an apology for her not telling him, and she refuses. She refuses to acknowledge it's a secret or any of that. He asked her if she want to break up, and I'm like, Brandon, don't play games right back with her because they irritating me. But in this specific situation, Kiki is wrong. So I'm gonna get James's opinion, because there's nothing anybody could say to get me to believe that Brandon is wrong in this situation. He needs to dump her and stop playing the games back, though.
Here's my opinion. I'm gonna need men with these fetishes to stop doing this when the person is not whole. Because she and her little friend tried to turn this around and make it seem like it wasn't what we heard. I want everybody to peep that. I want everybody to peep that not only did they wanted to make it seem like it wasn't exactly what we heard, but then they wanted to turn out on Brandon and make him seem like he was just as guilty as her when, according to him, because he didn't reveal that he was seeing anybody while he was dealing with Kiki. It was the audacity for me. Because it was like, what? What do I got to do with her lying?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's why I couldn't have been on this show. It was this situation. That's what I'm saying. Men with that's some deep down insecurity. Men with this fetish shit. That's some insecurity or something.
He
Or
should have
something
been
you trying to.
asking questions. When did you
Yes.
break up? What was the reason for the breakup? Does dude know about me? Like, there were so
Right.
many questions that he needed to be asking her. But
And the thing
her
is, and
tactic
then
is to act mad so that he don't feel comfortable, or it seems like she wants to back him into a corner. I
right,
don't like
to make
her.
him so it eases the guilt off of her. And I didn't like that. And then another thing, Brandon, because there's no way I'm coming to a city to meet the person I've been, in a long distance relationship with virtually. I show up to a city and that person is nowhere to be found. The relationship is done because I'm not going to waste my money like that if I'm not going to at least, at the very least, see you. And then the fact that she didn't even feel guilty about it, that's what was so crazy about that. She was like, oh, well, didn't nobody tell you I asked to come? So it was like, yeah, I couldn't with Kiki. Like, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it was like, I see why she goes through what she goes through.
Honestly, Kiki's the worst kind of person because she'll make you think that she's sweet and caring
Mm-hmm.
and empathetic.
That
But the
baby talking
reality
shit,
of it
yeah,
is, if it comes to hiding her true intentions or who she is, she will manipulate, gaslight. Doesn't matter how
yep.
cruel it is. She had zero regard for this man's feeling. And I was done with this bitch when she said, I mean, hell, I thought he would be cheating too.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
what?
They completely
Why?
turned that around on him, and it was like, wait, the audacity, because how you gonna just rightfully assume that I'm doing something?
And I'm sorry to say to Kiki, listen, I'm sorry, sis. You're not that cute to be acting that way. You don't have, I'm telling the truth. Ain't enough pretty privilege in the world for you to be treating somebody that way. For anybody, not just her.
Not
Like
just her. No, we saying this
there's
for
no
all people.
reason to treat nobody that way. If you do something wrong to somebody and you're not willing to apologize, then walk away, be quiet, don't say nothing.
Yeah,
But
but
to
don't sit
sit
up there and try to
there
turn it
and
on
be
them and
like,
make it feel like they're
right,
doing something. That was crazy to me. When I was
that's
listening to
sick.
that, I was like, wait, what? Wait, hold on. Not you trying to play some psychosemantics here. Man,
That's
you were
evil.
wrong.
That's
You
the
were
shit serial killers do. No,
right.
Kiki.
It's like, yeah, it's like, man, you were wrong. You weren't completely finished with somebody when you were talking to me. And the moment you had to be honest about the situation, because everybody in this fucking cast was lying about some shit one way or another, you could have been honest about yours. But the fact that you kept it up until episode 9 is baffling. And then you got your little friend here trying to co-sign your ignorance and your movements. And I can't get on board with that, y'all. I'm sorry. There's many things I'll get on board with because I can understand to some perspectives here. But this perspective was all the way wrong and left.
And she kept trying to make it seem, he keeps trying to make it seem like he's so innocent. No, he's not so fucking innocent. It's very clear that he's not. However, the shit that Kiki has been doing has been 20 times worse than anything that she is alleged Brandon to have done.
And
10
remember,
times
it's
worse.
alleged. He didn't deny it, but at the same time, you can't prove it either. So at the end of the day, I'd rather say he probably wasn't doing nothing but staying faithful to you. So what happens then, Kiki?
Right.
I'm
Hot
just saying.
mess. Hot mess.
I need to interview her. I really do. Kiki, if you watch it, come on watch on my reviews channel. I'll interview you because I really want to know like your logic with this, and when you watch this back, how you feel.
Something's wrong with her.
Was
James
it the
can have
edit,
it.
or was it really, or did you really just get on TV and just do this?
No, I hope that this is a bad editor acting, because if there are people who exist like her in the world, oh man, we got a long route. But
We got a long road ahead of us.
that was it that happened in the episode. Not much else happened. I'm glad that Ty and Brittany are gone. I am not surprised by Kiki's behavior. Brandon liked to play games too, though, because when he don't get his
He
way,
do. He not
somebody break
innocent,
up.
but at the same time, the reason why his gets overshadows is because hers is complex after complex after complex, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay, we can't keep building a story after story after story because then it'll make anything he brings to the table minute compared to what she has.
that is true. That is true. But she don't realize that. I'm just sick of Kiki. This cast was too much. I want OWN to do better. Take your time in between seasons so that you can cast people appropriately, and maybe we'll get a better show.
No,
Um,
yeah,
I
let me
don't.
write to own. Own in that call center. I'm calling out Own's call center. Oprah, your call center. Y'all need to do better with not only the casting but the dynamics of this show. These couples do not need to interact with each other. That's one. Two, you need to make sure they are single in their home life aside from them being on this virtual relationship. Because Charlie and Jared shouldn't have happened on this show.
They
I'm just
shouldn't
saying.
have.
They shouldn't have happened because that's ridiculous. Another thing is that they need to go through some psychiatric and psychological evaluations. I want psychiatric and psychological evaluations. I want both because I need to make sure you're bringing people who are mentally stable. All of these people show some mental incapacity at one point or another. And
Mm.
it's not conducive when we're trying to understand the concept of a show about people never meeting but dating. So I really need them to work on this show. And they don't, and if y'all don't have the money, like it cannot be that hard to rent. You have, how many couples was it? 6 or 7?
Too
It was 7
many.
couples, right?
I have no clue.
I think
But
it
it
was
was,
7 couples.
they all
It is
know.
not that hard to rent an Airbnb for 2 weeks. You can even go to an apartment complex and get little cottages. Hell, they can stay at an extended stay. I don't give a damn where they stay. They need to be separate from each other, and they need to live and figure out the dynamics. Who gonna do the laundry? Who gonna cook? Who gonna clean? Or who goes to work? If you worried about them missing work, then do it all where they all live in the same city because everybody virtually dates now. And if they
Yeah,
all live in the same city,
that's a
that's
good
damn.
point though. Date somebody who's near you also. But these people, I don't know how many episodes are left. I know that the next episode they should be leaving. I don't think that there will be a reunion. I hope there is, but I'm sure there won't.
If there
Um,
is, I need somebody else to host. If there is a reunion, I don't need that virtual shit. I need an actual reunion. I need them to be sitting down. And if I can have my request, Egypt, Sherrod, wherever you are at, I know you're busy with your own show, but Egypt, I need you on this one. I'm sorry, you ask the right questions every time you host a reunion. You ask the questions we all want to know, and you give so much. If y'all ain't never watched Egypt host a reunion on OWN, y'all are missing out. Egypt get the questions. I'm telling you, I need Egypt on the show.
Now, if when this show does go away, I'm probably gonna replace it with King's Court since I recapped Queen's Court. Um, but that will be on a trial basis because I feel like it's gonna irritate me, and I don't like Holly Robinson's Pete's husband. I
Who is
can't
the
say
kings that are coming on the show? Do you know? Do we know already?
they showed. I had watched a little trailer. It didn't look like nobody was
Famous?
exposed in the trailer that I saw, but once I know, as you know, James, I will. You will be the first that I
Because
tell.
I thought they did like people who are known in the industry. So that's why I was like, I wonder who it is.
Who knows? It's interesting though. I could see what they're trying to do, bringing the concept back. But we did Queen's Court. I appreciated the view, so I'll replace Never Ever Mets with that, I guess. But other than that, be on the lookout. Subscribe to James's channel. Subscribe to Shayna's channel. Both links are in the description. I'll probably be doing a live with Shayna and James at the end of this season again. And then James will be doing Somebody's Son another day, as well as Next Gen NYC. He'll be recapping the premiere episode and the second episode later in the week. And Housewives of Atlanta will be tomorrow. Did I
It'll
get that
be
right?
tomorrow before I go to work. So yes, I am excited for the new shows. We are trying to get this going. I am going to do an unpopular opinion since a lot is happening in the Bravo world. Britt Eady, Monique Samuels. I
Jesus.
I see you guys in DMs. I do. I see them. I promise you I do. I'm going to give my opinion on Monique Samuels coming back to Real Housewives of Potomac. I will definitely give my opinion on Britt Edie and her lawsuit. It will not go unnoticed. I promise, y'all.
Yes, hot mess. That's definitely something interesting to discuss. But that's it for today. We appreciate everybody who watched, whether you're here now or on our replay. We do hope that if you enjoy our content, you like the video. Other than that, happiest of Sundays. Hope everybody has a good week, and we will see you next time. Adios.
Adios.